Harriet Tubman was a very brave woman known for her incredible courage and determination. She was born into slavery many years ago, in a time when freedom was a distant dream for many. Her first name was Araminta, but people often called her Minty, a name that carried a sense of familiarity and affection. Her childhood was filled with hard work and harsh conditions, typical of the lives of enslaved children. She lived on a big farm called a plantation, where the labor was grueling and the days were long. Life there was very difficult for enslaved people. They had no freedom and faced constant oppression. Minty dreamed of a different life, one where she could be free and live without fear. She dreamed of being free, like the birds she watched flying in the sky, soaring high above the constraints of her world. Even as a young girl, Minty had a strong spirit and an unyielding will. She was not easily frightened, showing a resilience that would define her life. She saw the cruelty of slavery all around her, witnessing the suffering of her people. She felt deep in her heart that it was wrong, and this conviction grew stronger with each passing day. She wanted to help her family escape this hard life, to find a place where they could be free. This strong wish grew inside her, becoming a burning desire that she could not ignore. It became the great mission of her life, a purpose that would drive her actions. Later in her life, people gave Harriet a special name. They called her Moses, a testament to her leadership. In the Bible, Moses was a leader who guided his people to freedom. He led his people out of slavery in Egypt, a story that resonated deeply with Harriet. Harriet Tubman did something very similar, becoming a beacon of hope for many. She led her people, African Americans, out of slavery in the South, risking her life for their freedom. She guided them to the North, which was their promised land, a place where they could live freely. Harriet knew that the path to freedom was very dangerous, filled with many obstacles. Her belief in freedom was much stronger than any fear, and it fueled her relentless pursuit of justice. One day, Harriet heard terrible news. She learned she might be sold to a new owner. This new owner would take her far away to the Deep South. Life for slaves in the Deep South was even harder. The conditions were brutal, and the work was relentless. Harriet knew she could not let this happen. She had to take control of her own destiny. The fear was great, but her desire for freedom was greater. She felt a fire within her that could not be extinguished. She decided it was time to escape. The night offered her the cover she needed. Harriet's first journey to freedom was lonely and very dangerous. Every step was fraught with peril. She had to travel by herself. Trust was a luxury she could not afford. She walked many miles, mostly at night. The darkness was both her friend and her enemy. During the day, she hid in forests and swamps. She was often scared, but she knew she had to keep going. She was hungry and tired. The journey was taking a toll on her body, but she kept her determination strong. Her spirit was unbreakable. She thought about being free. The vision of freedom kept her moving. That thought gave her strength. It was the light at the end of a very dark tunnel. She knew she could not give up. Giving up was not an option. She had to keep moving forward, step by step, towards the north. Each step brought her closer to freedom. The stars in the night sky were her map. They guided her through the darkness. Harriet learned to look for the North Star. It was her beacon of hope. This special star always pointed the way to the north. It was a constant in an uncertain world. It showed her the direction to freedom. It was her silent guide. She also learned from the woods and the rivers. Nature was her teacher. Nature became her silent guide. It offered her clues and signs. She listened to the sounds of the night. She watched for signs. Every rustle and whisper held meaning. She was careful and clever. Her survival depended on it. Finally, after a long and hard journey, Harriet reached Pennsylvania. She had made it. For the first time in her life, Harriet was free. The chains of slavery were broken, but soon she thought of her family. Her journey was not yet complete. Harriet used a secret system to help people escape from slavery. This secret system was called the Underground Railroad. It was not a real railroad with trains and tracks as the name might suggest. Instead, it was a network of secret routes and safe places. Brave people helped escaping slaves travel north to freedom. They moved from one safe place to the next, often under the cover of darkness. This network stretched for many miles across several states. It was a hidden path to freedom for many enslaved people. The safe places on this secret path were called stations. These stations were often homes of people who hated slavery and wanted to help. These people were both white and black, united in their cause. They opened their doors to runaway slaves, offering them refuge. They gave them food and a place to rest and recover. The people who guided the slaves were called conductors. Harriet Tubman became a very famous conductor, known for her bravery. These conductors were like guides on a difficult journey. They showed the way and kept people safe. Information about the Underground Railroad was passed in secret ways. People used special codes and signals to communicate. They worked together in the shadows, always cautious. They risked their own safety to help others find freedom. After Harriet reached freedom, she did not forget her promise. She became a conductor on the Underground Railroad. She decided to go back to the South. She went back many times. Her first mission was to rescue her family. She brought her brothers and sisters to the North. Then she brought her parents. After helping her family, she did not stop. She continued to guide other enslaved people to freedom. She was strong and very brave. Harriet had her own ways of leading her groups. She was very strict because the danger was great. Everyone had to follow her rules. She usually traveled at night. She knew the secret paths well. She carried a song in her heart, and sometimes she sang softly to give courage. She also carried a weapon, a gun. She said she would use it if anyone tried to turn back. Turning back would put everyone in danger. She made sure everyone kept going. Keeping people moving was not easy. Some people in her groups became very tired. Some were overcome with fear. They wanted to give up, but Harriet would not let them. She told them stories about what freedom felt like. She reminded them why they started the journey. Her strong will inspired them. The journeys Harriet led were filled with constant danger. The biggest threat came from slave catchers. These men were paid to find and return runaway slaves. They often used dogs to track people. They carried guns and whips. Every shadow could hide a slave catcher. Every unexpected noise could mean they were close. Harriet and her groups had to be alert all the time. They lived with fear every moment of their journey. The conditions on these journeys were also very hard. They often traveled in bad weather. They faced cold winds, heavy rain, and deep snow. Sometimes they had to cross icy rivers. Their feet would be wet and frozen. They walked for many, many miles. Often they had little or no food. They slept in hidden places like caves or thick bushes. They were always tired and hungry. Their bodies ached, but their spirits pushed on. Harriet had to deal with fear and doubt within her groups. It was natural for people to be scared. The journey was long and uncertain. Some people would lose hope. They might even talk about turning back. Harriet had to be very strong for them. She had to convince them to keep going. Harriet Tubman made many dangerous trips back to the South. Historians believe she made around 13 return journeys. Think about that courage. Each trip was a risk to her own life. She could have been caught and punished severely. She could have been killed, but she went back. Again and again she walked into the heart of danger. She did this to bring others to freedom. Her bravery was truly incredible. She never hesitated when it was time to help. Through these many trips, Harriet rescued a large number of people. It is estimated that she personally led about 70 people to freedom. These people were her family members. They were her friends. They were also people she did not know. Each person she saved was a victory against slavery. Each rescued soul was a star of hope. She guided them like a shepherd guides a flock. She brought them from darkness into light. Each life was precious. The impact of Harriet's actions went far beyond the people she personally led. She inspired many other enslaved people to seek their own freedom. Harriet Tubman's work for freedom did not end with the Underground Railroad. Her dedication to justice and equality continued to shape her actions throughout her life. When the Civil War started, she joined the fight with unwavering resolve. She served as a nurse for the Union Army, providing essential care to those in need. She cared for sick and wounded soldiers, often working under harsh and dangerous conditions. She used her knowledge of plants for medicine, creating remedies that saved many lives. She was also a brave spy for the Union, risking her life to gather crucial intelligence. She gathered important information from behind enemy lines, playing a key role in the Union's efforts. She even helped lead a military raid that freed hundreds more slaves, showcasing her leadership and courage. She continued to fight for freedom in new ways, never ceasing in her mission for justice. After the war, Harriet continued to work for others, dedicating her life to service. She settled in Auburn, New York, where she became a pillar of the community. She cared for her aging parents, showing her deep sense of family and responsibility. She was always helping people in need, offering support and kindness to those around her. She opened her home to those who had nowhere else to go, providing shelter and hope. Later in her life, she fought for the rights of women, becoming an advocate for women's suffrage. She wanted women to have the right to vote, believing in equality for all. She spoke at meetings and rallies, inspiring others with her powerful words and unwavering spirit. Her spirit of fighting for justice never faded, and she remained a beacon of hope. She never stopped working to make the world a better place, dedicating her life to the cause of freedom. We remember Harriet Tubman today because she was a true American hero whose legacy continues to inspire. She stood up against the terrible injustice of slavery, fighting tirelessly for the freedom of others. She risked her own life many times to help others find freedom, demonstrating unparalleled bravery. Her actions directly changed the lives of hundreds of people, offering them a chance at a new life. She showed incredible bravery and leadership, setting an example for generations to come. Her legacy is one of freedom, hope, and fighting for what is right, reminding us all of the power of courage and determination.